You have an opportunity to breathe every stroke, and that can't be created by moving your head back and forth to get it out of the water. You have to maintain the back of the neck, the back, and the knee line. You have to maintain that straight line. So when I think of breathing, I'm going to be coming out over the water. You know, I'm not going to be looking forward, I'm going to be looking over my hands and getting that breath right as I come out of the water, and then returning back to that long line position that we're talking about. So there's no head movement bobbing up and down to get air, because again, that's going to cause my hips to sink behind it. For every action, there's a reaction. If I lift my head, my hips are going to sink and we're getting back to that plow position. So ideally, we're keeping that line together that we're always looking for. I like to repeat to myself, kick your hands forward. That gives me a sense of not lifting too high out of the water and plowing, but allowing my kick to push me over top of that anchoring position and return to that long line position. So that's what I'm really trying to think about when I'm swimming, is get over my hands with my kick and continue to do that in a full range of motion, start to finish in a race. The goal is always to maintain a small knee integrity where I'm only minimally allowing my knees to separate rather than in an outward position, which would cause more drag, and to have the maximum amount of ankle catch possible. And we mimic that through tons of drills, foot resistance in the water, any position that we can get in that would mimic that, even push it beyond what my normal kick would be, I think translates to the water. A lot of that's done through stretching, through surgical tubing, through drills, through vertical kicking. We do all these drills that force that issue so I can remember it, and it becomes a second nature to me when I swim full breaststroke.
Look at that stroke, nice and long. Take advantage of that strong kicking pad.
The kicking aspect of breaststroke is the most important aspect. That's where you're going to maintain your long line with a lot of power behind you. The stronger your kick, the longer you're going to be able to stay in that position. The anchoring with the kick, to me, would make sense that you want to force water backwards. There's a mistake with a lot of breaststrokers and their kick. They think that the breaststroke is a squeeze pattern, that you're going to drop your knees out and you're going to squeeze the water together behind you. But scientifically, it would make sense to me that you would bring your legs up and want to push the water backwards, because all your force will be in the opposite direction. That's an aspect that I think I've developed and applied to my stroke, which has allowed me to stay in that long line position. The unique part about a breaststroke kick is a combination of things. It's a combination of flexibility and a combination of strength. You will not have a successful breaststroke kick if you have one without the other. I think both of them are needed. To achieve this, you have to have maximal ankle flexibility for a good catch and good knee flexion to maintain a range of motions. With the combination of those two, our goal is to have maximal flexion, maximal ankle catch, and a force backward that's directly perpendicular to the stroke. And what's that going to allow is a huge force forward, allowing your body to continue moving forward in that line rather than up and down. When I'm kicking, and I'm kicking at my best, my philosophy is that I'm trying to force my ankles faster than my feet. So what that will allow will be maximal ankle flexion. By putting pressure on the outside of my feet, it would slow down the outside of my feet and allow my heels to move faster than the outside of my feet, and that would force a kick catch.
There you see just how much he's able to throw those hands out in front of him.
To emphasize the anchor and the streamline position, some of the drills we might do would be underwater swimming, maybe 3 pulls and a kick, and that'll be done with a straight body line. There will be no fluctuation of frequency. That line will stay straight, and a lot of that can be created by underwater swimming breaststroke. One of the things that we do in practice to maintain that long line integrity is a post-pull drill. This is going to replicate what I think helps me become a world-class swimmer in maintaining that line. Most of the time we do it with fins, and it's a posture position where either your hands are out in a streamlined position, you're laying on the water, or your hands are behind you. But the importance of a drill is to stay high on the water and really feel like your body is one and that you're almost weightless, that you could just do one motion and your body could just maintain that velocity off that one motion forever.
This is a variation. The hands leading the body, but they're very effortless, weightless out front, not moving, but just extending the core line and making him experience the balance position with his arms way out front.
We'll repeat that with a pulse pull, so you'll do that and then you'll take a pull of breaststroke and maintain that body position for an extended amount of time to know what it feels like to have that long position and to have long distance per stroke and a good glide. Imagine swimming like this through the water. Obviously the resistance is going to be a lot higher than swimming almost like a dolphin through the water. Some of the drills that we'll do to accomplish that is we'll separate the pull and the kick, and we'll stay in the streamlined long position a lot longer. So I'll do a lot of breaststroke swimming underwater and eliminate any type of frequency where I'll try and maintain that line while pulling and kicking. The visual effect that we're creating is that we'll be able to move along through the water with minimal drag rather than forcing our way through the water.
The back position emphasizes the line from his shoulders to his knees. The polo kick allows him to just warm up his ankle flexion, one leg and ankle at a time.
Breaststroke has always been deemed a feel stroke. Your breaststroke is going to be its best when you feel like you're swimming and your technique is together. And these drills are done to replicate that feel of balance and positioning on the water that suit your body the best.
Again, there's a variation. The pull buoy keeping the knees somewhat closer. Like to get the kicks completely underwater so you feel the recovery through the finish of the kick. This can be kicked in a variety of positions, and this is just going back to kicking breaststroke on his back. And the pull buoy actually makes you concentrate harder on your line because it puts an artificial float. So he's got to press his back position even more.
Take the next step with your line. The first process is going to be through your arms. And what we're going to visualize here is an anchoring effect that comes through swimming with a tight core and arms that anchor in a position where you move your body over that anchor. We're going to emphasize that a lot by doing a lot of sculling in many different positions. Sculling where you're on your back, on your stomach, feet first. And that's done by slowing the stroke down and feeling your corners especially. A lot of people do scull drills but don't really know what they're doing in the process. What we're trying to maintain here is a recognition of where your hands are in the water and where they would be during your stroke. So we'll do a lot of sculling with your feet forward, your feet behind you, positions that you wouldn't normally recognize where your hands would be, but it's an awareness of the width of your pull and the strength of your anchor. So when you would go to swim after that, it would easily make it more recognizable what quadrant of the water your hands need to be in location of your body.